The issues between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon have been mounting. But when Austin defeated Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14, Mr. McMahon's WWE was turned upside down.
And to me, one of the times Austin brought Mr. McMahon down that stands above the rest is when Stone Cold drove a beer truck into Raw and hosed down Mr. McMahon in a beer bath.
These guys are undoubtedly going to give us a show here tonight.
Talking about the beer bath on Raw, Byron, I called the action that night. It was evident that was not the type of attack Mr. McMahon thought would come from Stone Cold. And the WWE Universe came unglued as the ring was doused with Austin's beverage of choice.
The Austin-McMahon rivalry propelled WWE to unimaginable heights, gentlemen. And seeing Austin's behavior toward Mr. McMahon at Raw 25 proved that time doesn't heal all wounds.
What a stomp! Good grief!
I'd never advise anyone to go up against Mr. McMahon. But if you are, you can't let things turn into a wild brawl. The chairman of WWE will throw everything he's got at
you. We may be looking at a power bomb here.
That's exactly what it looks like to me, Cole.
Into the power bomb position now. And here it is. The brand of offense may not seem conventional, but when a matchup breaks down into an all-out, drag-out fight, that's when Mr. McMahon is at his most dangerous. Where there's chaos, there's opportunity.
A superstar does not want to get into an exchange of punches and kicks with Mr. McMahon. Don't let the suits and private planes fool you. The chairman has had his share of street fights before the term was coined for a type of WWE match.
They get dangerous out here, especially when there are no countouts. Got it.
Michael, that sledgehammer can cause some serious damage. After years of struggling to make an impact in WWE, Steve Austin finally broke through. Austin!
He's making a statement here with this attack. And Austin! Luthez press! Luthez press!
Look at him go!
Oh, it's over.
The situation just got real bad for Mr. McMahon.
Well, if you're a good employee, Saxton, you'd go help him.
Talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin at the King of the Ring, Byron. After Austin won the tournament, he proclaimed the birth of Austin 316. His anger produced the fuel that drove the Austin Revolution and ushered the Attitude Era into WWE.
The glass breaks, the beer's flowing, and Stone Cold utilizes certain sign language, Cole. Austin 316 took the world by storm and destroyed the foundation of WWE.
It's no secret that Mr. McMahon can be brash, confrontational, and at times even explosive. At one point, Mr. McMahon had an exclusive club where members would kiss the part of his anatomy he uses to sit down.
Oh, so ruthless.
Now that's how you use a table to your advantage.
Byron, you touched on something earlier. Mr. McMahon can most definitely be vain, smug, pompous, adversarial. At one point, the chairman of WWE referred to himself as a genetic jackhammer.
Byron, you showed up on television dressed like a baby. Who are you to insult Mr. McMahon? Mr. McMahon knows what's best for the WWE locker room and the WWE Universe better than they do themselves. Sometimes you have to crack a few eggs if you want to make an omelet. If someone doesn't like what Mr. McMahon's doing, that's just too bad. Real quick reminder, guys, there are no disqualifications and no countouts in this one. Anything is legal. Oh, and there are enough weapons under the ring to fill an armory.
Oh, and the ladder finds the mark.
Gonna be tough to bounce back from that one.
Back between the ropes. As Corey mentioned, there's a treasure trove of weapons under the ring. Everything from kendo sticks to steel chairs to fire extinguishers. If you can think about it, it's probably under there.
And when that's the case, it's not a matter of if you're...
Here we go a second time. And Austin, Luthez press.
Look at him go! This one is over.
Boom, what impact!
Mr. McMahon bought the company that would become WWE from his father, Vince McMahon Sr., in 1982 and transformed it from a successful regional promotion in the northeastern part of the United States to a national and then international company.
Up until 1997, most people thought Mr. McMahon was a WWE announcer and did not know that he owned WWE. That revelation brought about an incredible change in sports entertainment as seen by Mr. McMahon's conflicts with Bret Hitman Hart and a historic rivalry with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Attitude Era propelled WWE into the stratosphere as the company crushed Ted Turner's WCW in the Monday Night Wars. Mr. McMahon even survived an attempted overthrow by former WCW and ECW stars who were backed by his children and Paul Heyman, known as the Alliance. After years of struggling to make an impact in WWE, Steve Austin finally broke through at the 1996 King of the Ring. Austin was about to unleash something no one had ever seen before.
He's got Mr. McMahon. Boy, is the WWE chairman in trouble now.
Yeah, we all know he's a guy with great skill and endurance.
Talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin at the King of the Ring, Byron. After Austin won the tournament, he proclaimed the birth of Austin 316. His anger produced the fuel that drove the Austin Revolution and ushered the Attitude Era into WWE.
The glass breaks, the beer's flowing, and Stone Cold utilizes certain sign language, Cole.
Going for it all here.
And Austin, Luther's press! Luther's press!
Look at him go! A vicious attack on Mr. McMahon right now.
There it is. Now the question is, can Steve Austin finish? I'll tell you, watching Extreme Rules matches make me happy. My in-ring days are behind me. You talk about a treacherous environment to compete in.
He goes down hard. These superstars have both entered as challengers. One of them's going home as champion. This is a treacherous match indeed, as Corey was saying. I can't even tell you how many times we've seen Extreme Rules matches result in broken bones, stitches, and even trips to a medical facility.
Yeah, but despite all those inherent dangers, these superstars still willingly sign up for Extreme Rules matches. That's what amazes me the most.
Escapes trouble there. I gotta say, watching this match, I'm definitely seeing similarities to the May 2016 Extreme Rules match, where Roman Reigns defended his WWE World Heavyweight Championship against AJ Styles.
If I hear one more person tell me about how brave this superstar is for competing injured, I'm gonna lose my mind. I mean, what we're talking about here is essentially the equivalent of a hangnail. I wouldn't necessarily call that an injury.
When it comes to brutality, I would agree with Michael Cole's assessment that this match shares similarities with the 2016 Reigns-Styles match. Though for me, the biggest story of that night, oh my goodness!
I think some people miscategorize Mr. McMahon's use of the stunner. There's a saying about all being fair in love and war. That certainly applies to the conflict between Mr. McMahon and the Texas Rattlesnake in finishing moves. A lot of people looking to praise this superstar, but the way I see it, competing injured just goes along with the territory.
Corey, please, it takes an incredible amount of nerve to perfect your own version of opponent's finishing moves. That's what Mr. McMahon has done with the stunner, as a deliberate slap in the face to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Guys, Mr. McMahon utilizing the stunner as a way to humiliate his adversaries and defeat opponents are direct shots at the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Irish whip. Steve Austin. Stunner! Stone Cold with a stunner! Oh, he got him.
Let's look at this again.
And now one more time.
Stone Cold Stunner! Wow, I'm just as surprised as you guys are. Before Steve Austin became the venomous Texas Rattlesnake, he was known as Stunning Steve Austin, a competitor who was known primarily in the southeastern United States. Now, after Austin was fired from WCW, the frustration from that experience motivated Austin to do things on his own terms. At the 1996 King of the Ring, the era of Austin 316 launched its assault on sports entertainment.
Steve Austin is not shy when it comes to talking about his hardships coming up through the ranks of sports entertainment. We should also remember that when Austin first came to WWE, he was known as the Ringmaster and crowned the $1 Million Champion.
The trials and tribulations of Steve Austin being a journeyman competitor, dealing with politics in WCW, becoming inspired in ECW, and yes, even the Ringmaster, all led to Austin's fuel to be his own man. I don't know if we'd have Austin 316 if those things didn't happen.
This is what makes him one of the best in the business.
It's mayhem, chaos, and trips to local medical facilities when Stone Cold Steve Austin gets his hand on intended targets, guys. And Austin's ability to open up a can of...
Great job escaping, trying to turn this thing around.
Looking for the win. Stunner! Stone Cold with a stunner!
Let's see that again. Definitely worth a second look.
Talking about Stone Cold's talent for causing total chaos, Byron, I'm reminded of when I felt the venom from the Texas Rattlesnake at WrestleMania 27. Believe me, a terrible feeling sits in the pit of your stomach when you see Steve Austin walking toward you.
I loved watching Austin set you straight, Cole. Austin communicates with his fists, boots, and the Stone Cold Stunner. Cole, you know all about it.
Michael, that gives new meaning to have a seat.
When a superstar wins the Royal Rumble match, they immediately become part of an elite group. When they win a second Rumble, you're talking about your own exhibit in the Hall of Fame.
But to win a third, Michael, only one man has achieved that, and that is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold probably deserves his own wing in the Hall of Fame at this point.
When we talk about Steve Austin's 3 Royal Rumble match wins, you gentlemen have a revisionist history. The 97 victory should have an asterisk next to it because Austin was eliminated and re-entered the match. What would you guys do without me?
Let's see. Probably have less headaches for one thing, Corey. If you have an issue with Austin's Royal Rumble history, I'd like to see you take it up with Stone Cold.
When this guy's on, look out. What a stomp. Good grief.
And Steve Austin too quick that time.
Bad spot for him to be in here, guys.
He's got to do something to get back in this thing.
Going for the big one.
And Austin, Luther's press, Luther's press.
Look at him go. But he's running on fumes here. Does he have enough left in him to capitalize?
I'd never advise anyone to go up against Mr. McMahon. But if you are, you can't let things turn into a wild brawl. The chairman of WWE will throw everything he's got at you.
How can they get away with that? That's not legal.
Nobody controls the pace of a match quite like this guy.
Here comes the setup, double underhook. You're fired. To think, I almost wrote him off earlier.
This is Mr. McMahon's match now.
The brand of offense may not seem conventional, but...
Stunner from Mr. McMahon. That might have done it, Cole.
Shoulders on the back. One. He got body on body there, but that's about it. It's way too early. There it is.
Did you hear that crack?
Steve Austin doing a...
There it is.
Did you hear that crack?
This is what makes him one of the best in the business.
One more look at it. And Austin, Luther's press. Luther's press.
Look at him go. That's what he was looking for, Michael.
This one's getting ugly. You might want to turn away if you have a weak heart.
Oh, my goodness.
Earth-shattering spine buster. A vicious attack on Mr. McMahon right now.
Steve Austin is looking for the ending of this matchup.
Incoming from Austin.
Stone Cold Stunner. That has got to be it.
Stone Cold can draw the curtains on this fight.
He's looking at it, looking to flip the table.
Beautiful technique.
A vicious attack on Mr.
Steve Austin is putting on a nice show for his fans.
Yeah, we all know he's a guy with great skill and endurance.
Boy, this has just been pandemonium. Steve Austin is looking for the ending of this matchup.
Yeah, if he hits this, the match is over.
Whack. Michael, that gives new meaning to have a seat. Whack. Michael, that gives new meaning to have a seat.
He might have it.
I don't think he's got it completely locked in.
He broke out of it.
Cole, how in the world did he find the energy to do that?
An incredible combination.
It might be cliche, but it's true here. It ain't over till it's over.
A man like that seems to have an endless story. But can he follow up here?
He's making a statement here with this attack.
Stone Cold with that Texas charm on full display.
These athletes seem to have tried everything in their playbook. Oh, there's more in their arsenal, I promise you that. I don't know what it is, but they'll find it.
No, he reverses it. The intensity of this match has been incredible.
There it is. Did you hear that crack?
The longer this fight goes on, the more wear and tear on each competitor. Who is going to have enough to pick up the win? This has been a war. Oh, shows no mercy.
And that poor chair. It looks like a twisted heap.
I can't believe this one's still going on, especially after the beating that's been delivered tonight. Drop down.
Oh, he goes for the cover. One.
Oh, and a terrific reversal by Steve Austin.
Here we go. Take a look at this again. Yeah, that was nice. And here's a cover. And a kick out.
Wow, I am impressed.
Oh, my goodness. Crushing it. Here he goes for the win.
And an easy kick out there from Austin.
How'd he do that?
Yeah, we all know he's a guy with great skill and endurance. Oh, the referee better get a hold of things.
Hey, you're going to get yourself disqualified. Oh, you're just asking to get disqualified.
If you ain't cheap.
He's going for the pin. This could be it. And to the pay window. And he manages to get the shoulder up.
Man, oh, man.
Dodges a bullet there.
Look at him go!
Here's Austin's opportunity to win this thing.
That might be the end of Mr. McMahon tonight.
Steve Austin doing a great job of turning that around.
Oh, driver!
There it is.
Did you hear that crack?
There it is.
Did you hear that crack?
When this guy's on, look out. Look at this cocky display by Stone Cold.
Here he goes. And Austin, Luthez press, Luthez press.
Look at him go!
Here's Austin's opportunity to win this thing.
And here's Jason Stunner. Stone Cold with a stunner.
Just when you thought he had nothing.
He's fighting back here.
I expected nothing less, Cole. A man like that seems to have an endless store of energy.
Stunner! That's how you put an exclamation point on the end of a match, guys. That might be the...
He's got the shoulders down. 1, 2, 3.
The pinfall and the victory.
Extreme Rules is not for the faint of heart, as you can see in these highlights.
I could watch highlights of that one all night long. One of the great WWE matches I've ever been able to watch.
WWE and World WCW Champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Going to add that match to the highlight reel.
You know, guys, I personally don't see this as a loss. Mr. McMahon owns the record books, so I don't think he'll see it as a loss either.